The riverine plains of eastern South Asia have supported dense human settlement for millennia. This specific geography, defined by the Ganges and its shifting tributaries, has historically insulated the communities living along its banks. We are looking at the historical Anga region. Today, this territory spans across eastern Bihar, down into Jharkhand, and reaches the borders of Nepal. The people here speak Thethi Angika, a linguistic branch descending from the ancient Magadhi Prakrit. In 1903, the British linguist George Grierson conducted a massive survey of the subcontinent's languages. When he reached this region, he documented the local speech patterns. Grierson classified what he heard as a subdialect of Maithili. He noted its colloquial name, chika chiki, a label derived from the repetitive use of its defining copula verb, chika or che, meaning is. Grierson's classification established a baseline assumption that has persisted for over a century, that the speech of the Anga region is simply a localized deviation of standard regional languages. But identifying where a dialect ends and an independent language begins requires looking beneath the vocabulary. Thethi Angika possesses an internally consistent, highly formalized grammatical architecture that operates independently of Hindi or Maithili rules. To prove this independence, we must bypass vocabulary entirely, strip the language down to its phonetic bedrock, and rebuild its grammatical engine from first principles. Linguistic independence begins at the level of raw sound production, what the grammatical texts call Dwani Tattva. This table outlines the codified phonetic inventory of Thethi Angika. It maps exact articulation points in the mouth to specific phonemes. Look at the top row, which catalogs the swar, or right at the base level of guttural articulation, the kantha, we find the ah vowel. The regular inclusion of this specific sound distinguishes the language's phonetic inventory from standard Hindi and Maithili. Moving from vowels to consonants, the language exhibits strict behavioral tendencies, or pravriti. Where related languages differentiate between three distinct sibilant sounds, the sharp sh, the soft sh, and the standard sa, Thethi Angika collapses all of them into a single uniform alveolar sa. The system also enforces a phonetic law called viparye, or phoneme inversion. The most frequent application of this law is the habitual, rule-based swapping of the R and L sounds. We can observe this mechanical shift in real time. The standard root word for river. They form the base code of an independent linguistic system. When we step up one level from raw sound to word formation, Shabd Rachna, Thethi Angika reveals its most striking feature. Most Indo-Aryan languages operate on a binary noun system. A word is either in its base state or it is modified for pluralization or case. Thethi Angika uses a three-tier morphological architecture. This table charts the Rup Rachna, documenting the three distinct states a single noun can occupy. The first column is the lagu, or base, short form of the noun. The second column is the guru, or long form, created by attaching a specific suffix to the root. The third column is the atirikt, representing the maximum morphological extension of the word. We can map the mechanical process of this extension. We start with the base noun fudan. The first suffix addition extends the noun to its guru state, producing fudanma. A subsequent suffix drives it to the atirikt state, resulting in fudanma. This structural complexity exists to transmit data. These suffixes encode exact sociolinguistic information, signaling affection, derogation, or familiarity directly within the noun. Modifiers also encode exact specificity. The general word for flower, fool, takes a designated suffix to become fool ba, altering the definition to mean one highly specific, known flower. The tripartite system gives speakers a tool to mechanically encode their social reality into the structural root of the noun itself. Moving from individual words to complete syntactic scaffolding, the language enforces strict rules for how it handles actors and group quantities. This grid maps the formal pronoun, or sarvanam, structure. The text explicitly notes the absence of a dedicated third-person pronoun, the anya purush. To solve this missing variable, the syntax relies entirely on spatial demonstratives. It substitutes e, meaning proximal or near, and u, meaning distal or far, to act as the third person. This substitution mechanic forces the sentence structure to constantly define the exact physical relationship between the speaker and the subject. The language handles group quantities, or vachan, with similar efficiency. This section documents the rules for plural construction. Dithi Angika abandons internal mutations in favor of agglutination, gluing specific markers to the ends of words. The syntax mandates the use of designated suffixes to denote plurality, including sab, log, and the highly regional sini. The application is strictly modular. The base noun adami requires the terminal suffix sini to construct the plural adami sini. The syntax functions as an efficient modular system, building meaning by locking distinct markers together in sequence. Linguistic identity is proven when we observe all of these isolated rules interacting simultaneously in a single coherent sequence. This table catalogs the karak, or case markers. We extract the accusative marker, k. We start with a base noun that already reflects the required phonetic shifts of the region. We apply the morphological rule, locking the atirict suffix onto the root to encode the social context. We apply the syntactic rule, attaching the agglutinative plural marker. The case marker locks into the end of the string, completing the syntactic equation. The speech of the Ungar region operates as an independent linguistic system with its own documented internal logic. The formal documentation of this grammar validates the structural integrity and cultural identity of an entire linguistic population.